Hello and welcome to a new video. In today's video we're going to take a look at a triple community day team, a triple no legendary team, and a team that is very overpowered in the open Master League while not using a single legendary Pokemon, which is, something that I really want to achieve here. And honestly, this team is absolutely amazing. This is a team that I showcased already multiple times on this channel, to be fair. But it is still running the exact kind of way. We're going to still have Waterfall Primarina as our say swap. We have the lead of Rhyperior, which especially is an interesting Pokemon, which we're going to talk a little bit more later on anyway. And in the back, we're going to have Togekiss. Togekiss is the Pokemon that you would want to upgrade first. For Togekiss, you can use Pokemon like Xerneas, Zacian, Anomorus, anything basically. Florges if you have this Pokemon. Like basically, Togekiss is something that I mainly put in here as well, because I don't really have a better fairy type Pokemon that is non-legendary. I guess you have Gardevoir, which I have as well as a Shadow variant, but Togekiss is easier to get for most people. But out of the Pokemon that are on this team here, Togekiss is for sure the weakest link. What this means though as well is that this Pokemon is still very strong because the other Pokemon are absolutely busted and literally on the same part as all the legendary Pokemon. And Togekiss still has a lot of potential, especially with Aura Sphere, which you're going to see here directly in the first battle. We're going to be able to go ahead and go for a big boom, and Aura Sphere going to knock them out, and the Lander is going to go down to Togekiss. So if I say that Togekiss was the weakest link of this team, this doesn't mean that Togekiss was a bad Pokemon whatsoever. It's still a very solid pick right now, and of course with Charm, quite hard-hitting fast move user here, which you see as well, just generally speaking, for this team. We have Waterfall on our say-sub of Primarina, which does a solid amount of damage, while also actually still generating a solid amount of energy. We're going to have Mudslap on our lead, which is one of the strongest moves currently in the game, most likely the current strongest fast move in the game, I would say. And then we're going to have, of course, in the back our Togekiss, which is going to have Charm, which is going to be, I think, currently the hardest hitting move in the game possible. So yeah, this kind of showcases that, basically we're currently in a position where the, Charmers are very strong, where all the fast move pressure is really strong. And of course, if we're not using any legendary Pokemon already, we kind of want to utilize as much as we can, like what is currently overpowered in the current meta. And that's definitely one of those things that are very overpowered, like those hard-hitting fast move users. Basically, that is the best thing that they can currently run. Here we're going to have, for example, an opponent which has a Pokemon that does not really have the benefit of having a fast move that does a lot of damage, which you're going to see here with the Xerneas. And we see already the issues that this kind of creates, because all of a sudden the opponent just does not really have the firepower there. And they're going to still have the Yveltal, but Togekiss is going to be actually able to win both of the first games just basically on its own there. So yeah, if I say again that Togekiss wasn't the greatest, doesn't mean it's bad. Next opponent forfeits. I really wonder if this was the team that I showcased recently with Heatran as well. You don't have to forfeit with the team that I showcased with Heatran, by the way. It's still definitely playable to battle against Rhyperior. Like it would have been the Tapu Bulu as well as the Yveltal on the back. Yveltal is going to be a say swap, doing some neutral damage. Very solid in the two-shit scenario because they have to kind of go for a Rock Wreck in order to damage against you. And of course, the Tapu Bulu is going to be a harder answer to the Rhyperior. Anyway, Mewtwo needs a buff, honestly. Please give Psywave to Mewtwo. Please give this Pokemon Psywave. We need a buff for Mewtwo. This Pokemon is just not there anymore. Like, I'm sorry, like, I did like the pacing, of course. The pacing would be worse with Psywave on Mewtwo. But you need some kind of unique selling point for this Pokemon. Like, that's the thing as well. Like, before, it was just the hard-hitting side strike damage, the pacing that they had, the great coverage. But in current meta, like, you have so many Steel-type Pokemon, so many, Dark-type Pokemon, so many Pokemon that can just resist the Psychic Stab, that it's very difficult to run Psychic-type Pokemon currently, unless you run them without any Psychic-type moves, like we see with the Necrozmas right now. But, yeah, basically, it is, here, by the way, that is a bit silly by me. I should have definitely did this a little bit differently. Can we still win this? It's going to be a bit tricky. Oh, we have to... Yeah, we're not going to be able to win this one. If I went for... Nah, I don't think I would have won this no matter what, so it doesn't really matter. We're going to lose this battle here. But yeah, just generally speaking, it is what it is. We move on. Necrozma in the lead is going to be great. And here's one thing about Rhyperior. Rhyperior is a great Pokemon. Rhyperior is especially a great Pokemon if you are up energy. Here, for example, this is like my early mistakes, where go ahead and go into the Primarina. Why do I do this? I have no idea, absolutely not a single clue, because our fast move is double resisted, our main charge move is double resisted. I don't know why I did this here. I have no idea why I did this. I'm sorry for that one. I think I should just went to the Toga because I don't know why I did this here. But yeah, they swap out into the Necrozma. That's happy for me. That is absolutely fine. But yeah, basically you really would like to have some energy on the Rhyperior. Rhyperior with energy is absolutely broken. And we utilize it here, for example, we're going to use a shield. They very likely are going to go ahead and go back into the Palkia afterwards, which has an Aqua Tail start guaranteed. But I should be able to farm them down with one more Mud Slap. And I want to use a shield here because what we do have is we have 2 Breaking Swipes. And 2 Breaking Swipes means whatever's in the back there, I don't really care too much. We're going to be able to do some solid amount of damage here, or at least get some debuffs. And as we'll see, the opponent doesn't shield, but they're going to get the attack drop here. And that's all I really care for, as they're going to have another Breaking Swipe this time around the shield as well, another attack drop. Of course, this was just 25% chance total to actually have this scenario that we're going to get back-to-back attack drops onto the opponent. But that is definitely very beneficial for us, because all of a sudden Toga is going to be an absolute defensive monster, not because of the bulk that we have, but because the opponent just doesn't have attack anymore. And like, that's the broken thing about this team as well. If you get the opponent in a scenario like this, you're just going to instant win. Oh no, Zygarde, and what did I say before? This team plays best if you have energy. And I have now a Rock Wrecker stored on Rhyperior, which is one of the hardest hitting moves on a Pokemon that, generally speaking, is quite hard hitting. And so, yeah, there is not really a lot the opponent can do. Anyway, we're gonna see a Dialga coming in against us. That is fine. I want to go for the Moonblast. I hope they can still get to another Moonblast afterwards, though, because Moonblast does some nice damage against them. This looks like a perfect range where I can still get to another Moonblast here, and that is perfect because this is going to allow us to do so much damage against the opponent. And we're gonna put them into farming range. I thought one more fast move is enough, but they survive with 1 HP. Now it's going to be a bit tricky because they have, okay, they go for a Raw of Time. They have the Zygarde still here, and I have to go for those charge moves. And like, this is a matchup where I really wanted to have my Togekiss against, so again, a bit of a silly one for me. Need one more fast move from my Primarina to knock them out, so I don't have to use a shield. And here we're going with the debuff, and I let the move go through. Because I know that Togekiss with like all the shields should be really, really good. Like with the extra shield there, we know that there's another Pokemon that they can already deal with, and we cannot go for the full farm against the opponent there. And they can go for a charge move no matter what they want to go for. It doesn't really matter. Crunch is coming in here. They don't get the debuff and they have Ho-Oh in the back. Can we still win this one? I am not too sure actually, but I know at least that we're going to have Ancient Power here. This is going to do some double super effective damage, which is going to be definitely very important here. We will see the opponent going for the Sacred Fire, knocking us out, but we still have the Rhyperior, we still have the pressure of Mud Slap plus Breaking Swipe here. And they're of course going to be forced to use a shield. I will try to catch the move, which does work out absolutely perfect. So that is amazing. That's going to be a Sacred Fire going to get caught. And they have nothing they can do anymore. I can just use a shield here. My Rhyperior should have enough energy to knock out basically every single Pokemon that the opponent going to have. We have another charge move coming through. And there's only going to be the Dialga, I think, lurking with like 1 HP. And Rhyperior is going to be able to get a clean sweep here. Triple KO there, back to back to back. And we can move on to the next opponent. This opponent definitely was a memer, and I do appreciate it, but sadly we just completely hardwalled their team, so I'm absolutely sorry about this, but like there's nothing that you can do at the current time here. They're very likely gonna let the move go through because they know that we're going to have the hardest answer there later on, and Rhyperior just really doesn't take damage from this Pokemon. And so we decided to use a shield here because I expected that they're going to have another Dragon type Pokemon in their deck, and this was most likely the case, and they just decided to forfeit. Amazing Need Force, yeah. Dialga is going to be perfect. You kind of want to go for a Breaking Swipe eventually, though, just to try to get the debuff here on them. Afterwards, you should be able to fully farm them down. You don't have to go for another charge move. If they use a shield, it's a bit of a different story most of the time. So, Dialga, Iron Head, coming through, that's fine. We can go still for another charge move again. They use the shield. We can force to go for the Breaking Swipe here. And we can just farm them down. And so one dragon goes down. But a lot of times they have another dragon in the back, which they actually have here, which I didn't know, by the way. I didn't remember the matchup itself. But as you can see here, we have Primarina catching the Aqua Tail, which is resisted. We have a ton of energy on our Rhyperior. And we have the opponent staying in here. What could this in theory mean? If they don't want to swap out of this matchup with their Palkia against the Primarina, it's kind of clear that they're going to have a Pokemon very weak to water in the back. So, what Pokemon can be very weak to water? It's either Rhyperior, which is going to die to one Aura Sphere, or it's going to be Ho-Oh, which is going to die to one Rock Wrecker. And so, it is going to be Ho-Oh, it's going to be a swap, it's going to be the KO against the opponent straight away, one-shotting them, and we can move on to the next one. So, Rhyperior against Legendaries. Not a matchup that you really want to see, but we can go ahead and go for the Primarina swap. Income Station, that is fine. We're gonna try our best to go for another move here soon, but of course I would like to wait until they go for their Wild Charge, because this is gonna allow us to now do so much more damage with our Hydro Cannon, to force a shield, to force a KO. Let's see what we're gonna get. We're gonna get the shield, we can shield up again, we should be able to get the opponent really, really low. There should be energy dry now here, right? Like, come on, like there should be really energy dry here. Yeah. How to lose a battle instantaneously here, that's kind of how, yeah, there's nothing I can do here anymore. There's no way of me really coming back from this one. Zacian just generates energy too fast. I feel like that's unfair. That's definitely not down to me. That was Niantic's fault here. But of course, just joking. Like, should have played it a little bit better. But since the Storm's coming through, that's fine. We're gonna see here Legendaries. Doesn't matter, we're gonna move on now to the next opponent. Melmetal and Enamoris. Enamoris is going to be a Pokemon that I hope I get a debuff against, to say it, yeah, the easy way. Because the thing is, this Pokemon is a core breaker for our lead in our Say-Swap. It is okay for the Togekiss and we get the debuff. And you know why this debuff is so important? Well, look for yourself. Fly, all of a sudden, not a 2-shot anymore. And that is so crucial because you see the fast move damage that we have against the opponent. And I don't have to use a shield here now because I'm knowing now that the fly is not going to be enough. And that's all only down to what we did there. But also, not only this, we're also going to get to the Aura Sphere. So it was this 50% chance of breaking Swipe that allowed us to farm them down, not use a shield, and get an Aura Sphere against one of the harder answers to this team. And now you see why the 50-50 moves is like such a big problem in my opinion, because it completely changes the dynamic of a game for a coin flip. I don't know. Like, even make it like 30% chance. Make it 80% chance. Something like this, but like having it at a 50% chance if you get the boost or not, or like debuff or not, it just has the big problem of completely changing the game based on one coin toss. And that, I feel like, is just a bit silly, but again, it's part of Pokemon. Like, I don't actually want to really, judge too much about it. It's part of Pokemon, but for the people that also wonder when I cannot commentate this about the opponent, or they're gonna get the debuff here right now and how much impact it has, it just completely changes games. I'm fairly certain the opponent had a very solid shot there as well to still win the battle if they didn't get debuffed by the Breaking Swipe bait. And that is just the way Pokemon Go PvP currently is. Hydro Cannon coming through against the Primarina, against the Necrozma, yeah, that's going to be fine. We see the next Hydro Cannon coming through very, very soon as well. But we have to use a shield here. And by the way, why is Primarina a trap? I didn't actually even talk about it too much, but we see it here directly. Primarina is going to be here basically to be a pseudo Fairy-type Pokemon. Primarina's goal is to bait out Pokemon like the Necrozma, because you don't want to face it with the Togekiss, but you still have play against them. And so, the main benefit of Primarina is just on what you can still beat, what other Fairy-type Pokemon usually would be struggling against. So because of the Water type, the Steel type weakness of Fairy typing is gonna be kinda gone now. And you still have, with Hydro Cannon especially, and Waterfall, such a good way of kinda getting rid of those Pokemon that before, if you would have had Charm, are going to be very difficult to play against. So, here, the opponent have their own Waterfall Primarina, but I have my Rock Wrecker Rhyperior, which is way better for me as well. As they're gonna go for another charge move, this is looking really good for us. The opponent is gonna, take the Hydro Cannon, we're gonna be able to go for another charge move. The Palkia is coming back in, and we're gonna have to let the move go through. It is going to be the Awkward Tail, and we have now the full farm down against them, and we will win the battle. Rhyperior against us. We will see here the swap into the Primarina for us. The next Primarina is coming through. They're going to have Charm. I don't have Charm, and I go for a big mistake here. I go for the Hydro Cannon. I should have went for Moonblast, which you will see here. Moonblast will nearly one-shot them. I can still go for another Hydro Cannon, which is great and all, but yeah, they use a shield, cool. Now they have so much energy that they're gonna be able to get the shields back anyway, because I have Rhyperior as my best answer to this Pokemon and this problem, generally speaking. So if I just went for the Moonblast there, I would have had a way better time at the end, and they of course get to another move here as well. I didn't have to deal with any of that nonsense. I would have been even able to realign, which would have been great for me. But yeah, they're going to have Rhyperior coming in. Again, I'm not going to be able to deny the opponent. A lot of times I get denied after Pokemon faints, but we don't talk about this. But we're at least going to get the attack drop, which I definitely was a bit lucky with this team, which helped me out a lot of times as well with the results. And as you'll see here, they're going to have the attack drop on themselves again. They have Surf though, and we actually play the exact same team, which is kind of hilarious. But they ran Charm and they ran Surf, which gave them the win here against the mirror matchup. And so that's gonna be it for this video. I hope you enjoyed this one. This kind of showcases you that you don't need legendary Pokemon to compete in the Open Master League. And yeah, hopefully this helps you, and I'll see you then. Bye bye.